here, and today I'm super excited to introduce you to Deeann Graham, my awesome friend. And she had just written an amazing book. It's called Head On Stories of Alopecia. It has 75 stories of people with alopecia. It's just an incredible book. I think knowing other people's stories is the best way to feel better about alopecia. So I'm just thrilled that she has written this book. So Deeann, tell us about yourself and what motivated you to write this book.
Okay, so I've had alopecia for almost all my life, about 37 years now, and for the second time my hair started falling out completely about 10 years ago, and as an adult I thought, why isn't there something different out there than there was when I was 7 years old and it started falling out, and I discovered that I really wanted to read something. I wanted to see photos, and I wanted to read positive stories, or just positive stories about other people who I could relate to, really, and so this is how it kind of came about.
Give us a taste of the book. Like, tell us one of the stories in the book.
There's a story about a dancer, and she was also a yoga instructor. She's very physical, and she was invited to go to teach at a yoga retreat, and decided to go swimming with her wig on, and it completely got messed up, and she couldn't wear it after that point for the rest of the weekend, so she put a bandana on her head and was completely embarrassed. And then she went home and said, okay, I gotta get another wig, and so she located another wig, and then she started teaching yoga again in her hometown. And when she took her sweatshirt off, it came off in her sweatshirt, and she fussed to get it back on, but that was kind of her moment of realization, right, where she said, I can't live like this. This is something has to change. So, and many more months went by. She did something kind of more monumental on a level that everybody could recognize. She went on to America's Got Talent as an aerialist, and
Aerialist?
Yeah, she is trapeze artist.
Oh, okay. That's so good without hair.
Yes, but when I saw her, everybody was talking about it, and I saw her, and she had her wig on in it, and the whole time I kept thinking, oh my gosh, she is wearing this wig, and she's flipping upside down, and she's going every which way. So that's definitely part of her story too that you have to just read about. I have a great story about a mother and daughter who both have alopecia, and she had to realize that she needed to be more authentic with the life she was living, to lead by example for her child. And there's a lot of athletes. We have an Olympic athlete in here. We have dancers, skaters, just and very just everyday things that people do.
I know, like, there are stories where just like people were bullied, and then they were like at the end of their ropes. Like, they were so devastated, and just the story of how they flipped that around and became just like a spokesperson, have campaigns against bullying, and just makes such a huge difference. I know Deeann has talked to so many people in order to write this book. Like, how many people have you talked to?
Over 500. 500
people! Like, that is, oh my god, that's half of 1,000 people that you've talked to. Right. You're so fast, like, 30 years, you're like catching up. So, is there a commonality in people's stories?
Absolutely. I think for everyone there's a pivotal moment when we decide to move forward, and I talked about authenticity before, and I think that we all have to do that. There's a moment where we're approached with this, and we have to say, am I going to continue living, or am I going to stay at home and not go out and live my life? And it doesn't mean, they're taking off their wig and they're, free that way, because I think freedom becomes, it really is in different forms. Some people find that they have a lot more freedom once they do get a wig.
For me, what is liberating is just knowing that this is fine and wearing a wig is fine, and I stop fussing about like, oh, is this on perfect? Can people tell? Like, it's just like I have like cool colors and different hairstyles every day, and that is part of my personality. And so, yeah, everybody expresses it differently. And I think with all these stories, like 75 stories, like you just see different people reacting to it differently, and you can take from it, right? With our alopecia support group meetups, like we share stories, and every time it'll be a story that just like, oh, I never thought to think that way, and I just add that to my sort of like, what's the word? I am
it's your alopecia personality, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, or just your real personality, really. You have to take something on and say, yeah, I like this about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. And
Right. The word I was looking for, I think, is like, is repertoire? The word?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Like that way you can just like, I'll just draw from these. Like you're like amalgamating, incredible people's responses, right? You know,
Right.
sometimes it's just because they've had it for so long and then they've come to this point and this kind of like shortcuts it, just like, oh, like, it's like a revelation.
Right. It doesn't need to take 30 years to find yourself, I guess, in that respect. You can read through this and you can see how other people have done it and take on whatever you want from it. This is a book about men, women, and children, so it really covers everybody and from different parts of the world too.
What do you hope that people who read this book would get out of it?
That it wouldn't take 30 years to get through that process of grieving, of loss, and to be able to look at these photos and read these stories and say, wow, look at these people have done it, and I'm fully capable of doing that too.
For me, my pivotal moment, like me realizing that I'm okay with my, not having hair. It took me actually 3 years. It wasn't like that. Like it was just talking to people in our support group and hearing the stories. So like it would be like every month we meet and then we hear one story and then that one really changes how I look at things. And so I can only imagine, like, just this book has 75 stories with all these pivotal moments that people have, and you just like, you'll gain so much from it.
Yeah, and they're all very different. Although they have these similarities, they're all very different too.
Do you think this book is also for people around people with alopecia?
Absolutely. I think that so many people struggle. This doesn't just happen to the person with alopecia, right? It happens to everyone surrounding us, our friends, our family, our spouse. I have one story of a young girl whose parents decided that they would just start a huge boat race called the Dragon Boat Race in, I believe it's Ontario. And so they did that, and it's a huge fundraiser for one of the nonprofits for alopecia, and it makes a huge difference for them. They're giving people around them opportunities to not wonder what's going on with their daughter. They can ask questions, it's open, and they've also given their child open dialogue about this, and she's able to approach people and handle her own situation. So
I think that's so important, like to know how to handle questions. So tell us when and where this book is going to be available.
Okay, you can find it at www.headonpublishing.com. It'll be available in late June 2015.
And I heard that it's going to be at NAF.
Yes, it's going to make a debut at NAF in Garden Grove this year, and that is the 25th of June.
Cool, yeah, and we'll be there, and a lot of people in this book, I think, what is it, 30?
Almost half the book, the people will be in attendance there.
You get to meet them, and they're like so inspiring.
Yes.
NAF is going to be near Disneyland this year, so I'm super excited about that. It's actually my first NAF, so that's all I can say about it. But Deeann has gone, and it's.
Yep.
What do you think of it?
I love it. I think it's a great opportunity to meet other people with alopecia. Life-changing. You'll hear that a lot about.
And at NAF, these head-on books will be available. Check out the information below the video and come to NAF conference, meet Deeann in person, meet me, and I'm in the book too.
Yes.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.